Hi, welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time here to my channel. I'm May, and this is going to be my Annotate with me for the month of November vlog. I typically do 3 annotations books per month, but I didn't do any in October, so we have a catch-up month, so I'm going to be doing 6 in November, which seems kind of very frightening, but I think I'll be okay. I have faith in myself. The first one for the video is going to be Twelfth Knight by Alexine Farrell Fulmuth, maybe? This is like a silly little romance, less than 300 pages, and I have the special edition, so it does have a sprayed edge. It does have some really cool, like, artwork in the cover. I'm going to show that off. I'm also going to take the dust jacket off because I don't read with the dust jackets on anyways, and there's something underneath the dust jacket. So we have this really cool, artwork, and then it's the same in the back, but still, like, really cool. And then we have the sprayed edge. And then it says some people just click, because I think they're meeting online playing together video games, and that sounds like it's gonna be such a fun time. If you're new to my channel, the way that I do my annotation with me videos is that I check in when I start the book at 50% and when I actually finish the book. And I do try to put some clips of me actually reading the book, but I don't always like excel at doing that part. That part is a work in progress for these videos, but I do try to at least check in 3 times per book. My tabs, this is, like I said, a really short book, so I kept the tabs pretty simple. I picked out 4. We have black because the main character on the cover is wearing like a suit of armor, so that the black will be for the main character, and then this tan is going to be for favorite moments. The purple, this purple that doesn't look purple on screen for you guys, this is going to be for romance, and this green character is going to be for Jack, who is the love interest. And I don't know if I'm even going to really highlight anything, so I don't really pick out a highlighter for this book. I think I'm mostly going to be doing tabs. And yeah, I will check in when I get to 50% in the book. Okay, hi. I'm here to give an update on how 12th Night is going. Guys, I'm gonna be so honest with you. This book is so bad, but it's exactly what I needed. And even though it's bad, it's like arguably a bad book. I'm not gonna DNF it because I need this kind of like, it's not a book that I'll think about and like it will stick with me for the rest of my life, but it's exactly the kind of book that I need in this very moment. And I love when that happens, like the universe knows what you need and it provides. Like, I love watching reality TV shows, like when I'm having a bad time. So to be in someone else's drama is so entertaining for me, and that's essentially what it's like to read this book. Because it is following 2 characters who don't really like each other, but then they also have like some messiness happening between the 2 of them, but also between other people as well. And it's so messy. It's so messy. So it's following V, who is the vice president of her school, and in her spare time, she does what is called like Conquest, which is pretty much like D&D with their form of it, and she plays this game called 12th Night. But in the game, she does not play as a woman, she plays as a man, because she says that playing as a woman, no one takes her serious, so she pretends to be a man in these games so that people don't take her, so people treat her the way that she wants to be treated. And everyone calls her really mean names, like IRL, like everyone's like, she's a bitch. And I won't lie to you guys, she is a bitch. But she has reasons to be a bitch, because people are not kind to her. And she's kind of just giving them the energy that they're giving back to her. Like, this one person that she was in the conquest with came up to her afterwards and was like, do you want to go on a date with me? And she was like, no. And she's like, well, you owe me a date. Like, he was being really creepy, being like, you owe me a date because I've been nice to you and I stuck up for you. That's disgusting behavior. And so she's mean to him, rightfully so. And her best friend's like, you don't be such a bitch sometimes. Like, you get more flies with honey. And she's like, I'm not going to be nice to someone that does not deserve my niceness. And I kind of really respect her for that. I love that she's not a pushover. And yes, there is some times where I'm like, okay, V, you could have been a bit nicer in your approach to that. But every time I feel like she's been called a bitch, I think that she's warranted for her behavior. So she is currently like not really having much friends right now because they're not treating her the way that she deserves to be treated. And like the one person that was supposed to be her friend, she like talks bad about her behind her back. Like, there's this one time a guy is mean to her face during school, and she is mean back to him, and her friend comes up and is like, oh, she can just be like that. And I'm like, that's not a real friend. Like, your friend should be defending you. And her friend calls her a bitch behind her back, and she pretty much, I don't know, I don't like her energy at all. The friend, not the main character. And then in the part that I got to, we just realized that the guy that asked her out creepily in the front book, her best friend is now dating. So it's like really messy on her side of things. That's not even mentioning what's happening with the main male character. I haven't even gotten to that part. The main male character is Jack, who is the president of the school. Jack and V ran against each other, but he won. So she got to be his vice president, and they do not get along because she thinks that he is pretty much spoiled. She just thinks that he doesn't do any work. She thinks that he's all about football and cares about nothing else. Well, during football, he gets injured and tears his ACL and is out of football for the entire season. And his brother decides to tell him that during his time off that he should get into the 12th Knight, which is the game that V plays. So V and Jack start playing video games together, but don't realize that they're playing video games. Well, she knows that it's him, but he doesn't know that it's her because, like I said, she's pretending to be a man. And one day she lets it slip that she goes to school with him. And she then tells him that it's her brother, like he's playing with her brother. And he believes her. So this whole time they're going through, and he's like opening up to this character and telling them things that he'd never tell V in real life. And it's not V's brother, it's V. And Jack has no idea that it's V. So V is holding all of this juicy details about Jack, and he has no idea. And they don't really like each other, but then they decide to go to a con together, like a volunteer at a con together, and they just had a moment together. Like sparks are flying. Here's the thing. Jack has a girlfriend, but him and his girlfriend are currently on a break because she says that she needed time to be with her schoolwork, but we just found out that she's a lesbian. So when I tell you there is like drama on top of drama on top of drama, and I am living for it. I actually read past the 150 page mark, which would have been halfway. I read to 200 pages, so I'm like 65% of the way. I'll definitely finishing tomorrow. And I didn't even want to stop when I did, but I have some other things to do. And it's not going to be a 5-star. It's not even probably going to be a 4-star. Like, it might be a 3.5 or 3.75, but this is literally exactly what I needed this week. Like, it's giving me exactly what I could hope for to, like, escape into someone else's problems. And I just think it's so funny because I kind of guessed that she was going to be a lesbian because she comes home from summer and is acting totally mysterious, acting totally different than how she was before she went to summer event. And Jack's like, oh, like, what's going on with you? And she's like, nothing's going on with me. I'm just so busy with school. My parents are so strict. They don't want me to be with you. But yet she is like really, really into V. Like, she's asking V to hang out, V to go to things with her. And I'm like, so you don't have time for Jack, but you have time for V. And the whole time I was thinking, I think she's gay. That's what I was thinking the entire time. I was like, she's giving me lesbian vibes. And then she just admitted that she was a lesbian. She's like, I like girls. But she hasn't broke up with her boyfriend. Like, she's still dating Jack. They're just on a break. And she's like, well, I don't know how to tell him this. Like, I just don't have feelings for him anymore because I went and found someone at the summer and I have a big lesbian crush on her and I want to be with her. And then she like implies that she likes V. She's like, I have a crush on you, essentially. And V's just like, what? And V and Jack have like a temporary alliance because he's trying to help her get back together. Like, Jack is wanting her to help him get back with his girlfriend, Olivia. And she said that if she helped him, he had to step up into his president duties and actually do the work. So they made like a temporary alliance. Well, V in this moment's like, oh my god, she just told me that she's a lesbian, and I can't tell her boyfriend because then I'm outing her, but I'm supposed to tell him what's wrong with her so they can help get back together, but they're never gonna get back together because she's a lesbian. And guys, it's horrible. It's not a good book at all, but I don't want to say I love it. I'm living for it. It's messy. I thought that romance would play a bigger part into this book, so I have annotated like barely anything. This is not a good book to annotate. I've kind of just annotated like my favorite moments and some things about characters, but I think out of 200 pages, I've maybe annotated like maybe 10 things. So you're not gonna really get any clips of me annotating this one, and I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Obviously, you don't know how much you're annotating until you actually start reading the book. I have all these adult problems, and it's so nice to go into the minds of senior high schoolers who have like barely any actual problems, and their only problems is just like girls and school and these random video games. It's so nice to just turn my brain off and get into that kind of world. So I'm gonna finish this tomorrow, and then I'll be back to give you my final thoughts and what my rating's gonna be. Okay, I am back the next day. I have finished 12th Knight, and I'm gonna be giving it a 3.5. I like barely annotated in this because I thought it was a romance book, and it's not really a romance book. It's more just of a contemporary book, and there wasn't really a whole lot to annotate in it. But it was comforting. It was like a friend. It was like being held by a friend. It was a nice distraction from my life. It does end up with them getting together, and she does have a moment where she questions if she's bisexual, but she ends up realizing that she's not bisexual, that she just wants to be friends with that girl and she wants to date the boy, which would have been valid either way. And it's just like a really, typical ending of like, oh, they have these problems where they're gonna tell the truth to each other and fall in love. I don't think anything about it is unique or like amazing or anything like world shattering. I just think this might be a fun read for like a, a pick-me-up. Like it really does serve a good book for a pick-me-up. I am going to be unhauling it because I only keep books on my shelf over 4 stars, and I have a friend that I have in mind that might really enjoy this. But yes, I already talked about what it's about, and I don't really have too much to say that I didn't already say in my first check-in because I don't really think much happened in the last 100 pages other than the fact that she tells the truth about who she is and they fall in love. And I will say, like, he's a football player and he was injured, but he still gets to go to the football school anyways. Like his football scholarship is still in effect, which is like very positive outcome that may not have been super realistic, but it's like it's a contemporary book. You can't really expect much less in these kinds of books. And I think they're a cute little couple. Do I think they're gonna be a couple forever? No, I don't. But that's not for me to talk about. This book's about current them. There's no other book in the series. So that doesn't matter if I think that it won't last long term, because that book's not about long term them. It's about current them. And I think current them is cute. I think it's cute. And they have a lot of drama, but they accept each other for who they are, and even all their flaws, which they have a lot of, and all their mistakes, which they have a lot of. I think, they say, they're like, you know what, we're work in progresses. Let's just be together. And I do really enjoy that V kind of found the confidence to be who she really is by the end of the book, because she wanted to be like a dungeon master, but like they call them quest masters in the book, but like she wanted to be a quest master, but no one would take her serious. But by the end of the book, she finds people that would take her serious, and she's now doing her own quest, which is like I'm happy for her. And I do think that she's not a bitch. I think she's misunderstood and people were taking advantage of her, and she does take advantage of some people through the book as well. She's not innocent. But I don't think all the blame can just be put on her. I think the blame can be put on lots of people. And I will say, she's not a bad character. They are like 17 though. So like, I'm not going to be thinking about them ever again, really. For what it is, it's a good book. I enjoyed it in the moment. And I do already know what I'm going to be reading next. I'm going to be reading A Pirate's Life for Tea. And I will be annotating this, but I don't have the tabs picked out. So I'll show the tabs when I give my 50% check-in. I know that's kind of cheating, but I need to read 50 pages of this today to hit my reading goal for the day. So I'm going to read 50 pages, and then when I do my check-in, I'll show the tabs off then, if that makes sense. Please forgive me. But 3.5 for the first Annotate With Me book is not bad, but I do have hopes of getting a 5-star in this video. I'm begging. I'm begging that one of these 6 books ends up being really good. Okay, hi. It is Thursday. I meant to finish the book today. Here's the truth. I did not read much yesterday. Brain was not having a very good day yesterday. The good news is I have locked in for today, and I've already read 100 pages this morning, so I only have like maybe 120 pages left in the book. I'm locking in. I'm at 58% into the book, and I'm here to give what my tabs were, and I'm also here to talk about how I'm liking the book so far, because I didn't have the tabs ready when I started. Well, guess what, Pookies? I do now. So, I've actually annotated quite a bit in this one. Also, why'd they get all fucking messed up? Hold on. Let me just re-put them in their spots. Like, I'm almost out of a certain tab. I'm gonna have to get more of them. Okay. So, these are the tabs that I ended up going with. I mean, when you look at them compared to the book, they're kind of a sleigh. Well, the light is kicking off the burgundy. So I ended up doing the blue tab is favorite moments, and then the burgundy is the romance between Reina and Kaya. The orange tab is the romance between Bobby and Serena, and then like the orangey brown tab is the plot. Because there's actually two romances that are happening in this book, which I did not understand until I started the book, because I don't think I understood just anything really about what this book was going to be like and what was the other books are going to be like. I read the first book a couple months ago, and I hated it. I was bored. I think I ended up giving it a 3, maybe a 2.75. I can't really remember. I just remember that I was so angry because like most of the book was them talking about the color of the walls and what floors to use and all that stuff. And this was my first dip into cozy fantasy, and I was like, maybe I'm just not a cozy fantasy person. And then I read this one, which is technically cozy fantasy, and I'm loving it. Like, it's so much better because it's not just like, what color should we paint the walls, honey? It's them having like a low stakes, fun adventure with the romance, with the cozy moments, and it's entertaining enough for my brain to be fixated. The first book, my brain was like, why should I care? And this book is giving me that. So this one is definitely a 4 at the moment. It's definitely a lot higher than the first one was going to be. But I misunderstood how this series was set up. Originally I thought each book was its own couple. Like, I thought it was like a standalone series where each book was its own thing. Then I read the first book, realized that's not true. So then I was like, oh, it must be a new couple, but the original couple is still in the book as side characters. Once again, I was wrong. So it's the exact same characters in the first book as the main characters in this book, except for we've added a side romance that's also getting point of views. And I don't really know how I feel about that yet. I'll decide how I feel about that when I actually finish the book. But I do think the dedication is hilarious. The dedication is to the people who gave me 1-star reviews because the first book had lesbians. I doubled the lesbians in this just for you, because we have 2 lesbian couples in this book. But the author's note says, this novel is a cozy fantasy. Although my books have higher stakes than other cozies, you can guarantee a happy ending. This novel is best enjoyed on a quiet night with a fireplace, a beloved pet, and a cup of tea. And that's such a wholesome way of, like, you know, saying this. But this one does have higher stakes than the first one. I think that's why I liked it. I think the first one had nothing going on for me, and the second one, they're on an adventure, and it's a pirate adventure, and I think it's so much more enjoyable. So the second book is following them trying to go find the dragon eggs that they were informed were stolen in the first book. But on their journey to find the dragon eggs, they end up getting involved in another scenario of the side characters, and one's a pirate who is stealing wheat to provide food for people that are starving, and the other side character is a constable, pretty much a sheriff, who is going after her for being a pirate. But they're friends from childhoods, and I think they're in love with each other. So we're getting like the dragon main plot, but we're also getting like the subplot of Serena thinking that she's doing what's right because she's feeding people, and then Bobby being like, no, I'm right because I'm the law. And it's just like a really interesting way of formatting the book of like, I'm not bored. I can say that. I'm definitely not bored. And I think it's a lot easier to read. I think it's still really punny and cozy. I think this one's just, you know, a bit more better for my brain personally. I've annotated quite a bit. You can't tell that I've annotated because it's a sprayed edge and I don't put the tabs out when I have a sprayed edge. I do them like on the corner of the books, but like, I don't know. I feel like I've got quite a bit in there, you know? But I'm definitely gonna finish this today. It's like my goal to finish this, like for really, I'm gonna lock in and get this read. Right now it's at a 4-star. It might end up being higher. I don't really see it being lower because I'm enjoying it so much. It has to really take a turn for me to give it less than 4 stars at this point. With that being said, I did say that if I like this book, I would continue the series. And at this point, I do think I'm going to continue the series. Because this one, I'm really loving. I love a good pirate book. And maybe it's because it has that pirate setting. That's what I'm liking more than just like the bookshop setting that it was giving me in the first one. Okay, I am back, like I said I would be, to tell you about the book. I did finish it. I have it right here. This is the Annotate With Me video, so there is going to be spoilers. I am going to be giving this a 4. I'm going to be giving this a 4. I really liked it. There's some elements that I didn't necessarily like, and I do think it doesn't make any sense the way that the series is being set up. But overall, this one was a really fun time. It was a cozy fantasy, but it had more action in it. So I was easily able to like stay entertained with it, and I wasn't really bored really at all. Maybe it was the pirate setting that I enjoyed. I really enjoyed Bobby and Serena's story. I think that the main characters from the first book, I think they're kind of cringy sometimes. They make a lot of really cringy jokes where I'm like, ugh. Like, I kind of give secondhand embarrassment from some of their relationship moments. And there are 3 things that I want to talk about that I didn't really particularly enjoy, and that's the reason why it's not getting a higher rating. But overall, it's a very good book. I liked it enough to maybe look into the rest of the series, but, well, that's one of my points. I don't understand how the rest of the series is playing out. I'm going to have to look into that. But the first point of this book that I don't like is that the main characters from the first book, they're in the story and they're incredibly pushy about people's relationships. Like, I'm not joking, this is why, since this is the Annotate With Me and there are spoilers, in the book, one of the very first interactions that we have in the book is that they encounter a pirate attack. And they learn that the pirate is someone that the sheriff, constable, whatever you want to call them, was best friends with as a child, and they have been trying their best to get a hold of this pirate to talk some sense into them, and they're like, oh my god, they're in love. And they decide that they're in love, which they do end up being in love. They were like, we have to make them be together. So one of the characters literally stages a kidnapping to get them together, like in like a close space. And I thought that was so cringy. I like relationships that happen organically and like naturally. Like, yeah, there can be like a little bit of meddling involved, but this was like a lot of meddling. There's like, I can't really tell you everything because it'd be like a lot of information all at once, but there's like a staged kidnapping. One time they helped the pirate completely escape. All of this to make it known that they're in love. They're like, oh, we have to keep doing this so that they realize that they're in love because they think that they're enemies. They're like, they were like friends to enemies to hopefully lovers, and the 2 main characters from the first book are like very insistent on being matchmakers, and I think they came off very cringy at times. Like, and this is the weirdest part. One of the main characters is writing a book about this, and I was like, I don't like that. Like, she's like, oh my god, their romance is gonna make great quality content in my book. And it's like, are you asking these people to be in your book? If you're telling a story about their romance, aren't you gonna at least ask them? Like, it just came off very weird and cringy and pushy, and I didn't really enjoy those moments at all. And they happen throughout the book. And then the best part about it is the characters end up confessing their feelings very organically. Like, But then the matchmakers are like, oh my God, we did it. We're so great. And it's like, no, they end up confessing their feelings in a very organic, natural way. You really had no part in it. If anything, you might have made it harder on them because you literally had them running for their lives and being kidnapped and such. The second thing I don't like is one of the main characters, I don't know how to say her name. I think it's Kyanthea. I call her Kai in my head. She is incredibly pushy, but not just in the romance way. There is a moment in the book where she needs to summon someone. So she sends her griffin with a note to summon this person. And that person comes completely flustered, thinking that people were dying, because all the note said was, come, it's an emergency. And she refuses to be like, oh yeah, you're right, I should have gave more information. She's like, no, it's your job to come when I call. And I just don't like that attitude. And there were several times in the book that it was like that, where she just expected people to do exactly what she was wanting with very little information. Like, she didn't want to tell people the plan. She didn't want to tell people her ideas. She, like, hid a lot of information. And I don't think that makes for a very reliable narrative. And I don't know. It just kind of got under my skin. The third thing that I did not like is I don't understand how this series is being set up. Because the first book was about Kai and Rena. I don't know how to say their names right. And it was about their tea shop, them opening up their tea shop and them getting away from the influence of the queen. And they end up learning that these dragons are attacking their new home because they had eggs stolen from them at some point. So like, oh, we'll go save the eggs for you. So I thought the second book was going to be about them getting the eggs back, which it kind of is, but it becomes kind of a subplot. And the main plot becomes Bobby trying to save Serena from her pirate life. So, but Bobby and Serena weren't the main characters. They were the side characters. So we had the main characters from the first book, but their plot was the subplot. And the main plot of the book was about the side characters. And I was like, what is going on here? I think it would have made more sense to have Bobby and Serena be the main characters and had Kaya and Rena be the side characters of the book. Because we do get Bobby and Serena's point of view, but it's like barely at all. Most of the book is still told from Kai and Arena's point of view. And I just realized there's like 4 books in the series. And in this book, Kaya and Rena are like, oh, well, we've had a great adventure. I want to go back home to my tea shop. And I'm like, but there's a 3rd book. I Googled it. It looks like all 4 books have Kaya and Rena as the main character, but there's going to be a new set of side characters introduced in each book. And the plot is about those side characters, which I think makes no fucking sense. I know in the next book they're supposed to get married, Kaya and Rena. I like this enough to possibly read the 3rd one, but I don't think it's going to be on my radar very soon. I don't own it. I don't think I'm going to buy them. It might just be put onto my maybes of 2026, and if I get to it, I get to it. I also don't know if maybe there's going to be more books, because I think the 4th one just came out recently. But I don't know. I have some critiques, and the critiques are what kept me from giving it a 5 stars. Do I think it's a bad book? No. Do I think it could really improve by doing a different way of writing? Yes. But it's beautiful. It was definitely lesbians at their best work. And I love the pirates. So I'm going to be giving it a 4 star. And I'm going to be starting Once Upon a K-Prom next. I think either tomorrow, maybe. So I'll be back to show off the annotation tabs for that one. I am kind of on a schedule of reads because I have a Friendsgiving event coming up and I'm going to have friends over for like 4 to 5 days and I'm not going to have much time to read during those days. So I'm trying to get as much reading done before they come. It is technically the week before right now. Today is 1 week until my friends arrive. So you're going to see me plowing through books very quickly right now because I don't think I'll be reading those days. And if I do read, I think it's going to be very little. So ignore me as I plow through like 6 books before they come. But yeah, not bad. I think it's beautiful. I do think that I'm going to unhaul the first one and I might keep this one. I don't know yet. I don't know if I'll unhaul this one as well. But that is my review of A Pirate's Life for Tea. It's November 7th, and I am starting Once Upon a K-Prom. I have the dust jacket off because I just can't be bothered with dust jackets. This is a really cute book, my friend said, and they were really hoping that I would like it, but they're not sure if I would like it. It's a pretty short book, so I only am doing 3 tabs. We have... These are the tabs that I have chosen. The dust jacket will make a lot more sense when you see it, and that's why I picked these colors. But I'm doing the pink as romance, and then the dark blue is the female main character, and then the light blue is the male main character. And I'm hoping to read at least 100 pages today. And that's what my goal is. And I'm going to show me reading some of it. I haven't really been able to show a lot of annotating because I haven't annotated a whole lot. Like, I think when I get to the fantasy ones, which I have 2 of this month, I think when I get to those ones, there'll be a bit more annotating involved. But yeah, let's read a little bit together. I'm finally back to talk about Once Upon a K-Prom, and I annotated quite a bit. I'll give you a close-up. I ended up really liking it. I'm giving it a 3.75 because it just didn't wow me, and also I couldn't see myself giving this a 5-star because I'm not a K-pop fan, not much of a romance fan. It takes a lot for me to give a 5-star in a romance, but it had a lot of really cute moments. They're adorable, and I kind of talked about this already, about what it was about and how it was going, but this is following a girl who is trying to raise money for a community center so that it doesn't lose its funding, and she's using prom as a way to do it. She's asking people to save money on prom and then donate what they would have spent to this community center. She's not anti-prom. She's just like, hey, instead of spending $800 on a dress, what if you spent $400 and then donated the other $400 to the community center? And she gets asked why she doesn't want to go to prom, and we find out the reason why she doesn't want to go to prom is because 7 years ago, she made a promise to a guy that they would go together, but then he became a huge K-pop fan, and then they left, and then speak for 7 years, and she can't imagine going to prom with anyone else, and she's like, there's no way he's going to come back and ask me, and then plot twist, he does come back and actually asks her, and she says no. Not just once, not just twice, but I'm pretty sure like almost 3 times he asks her, and she's like, no, I don't really want to go to prom, and then finally he's able to convince her, and the book is about like them going to prom, like the book is about them as their relationship is kind of growing back into fruition because they haven't seen each other for 7 years, and there's also like an underlying betrayal that happens. We find out that the reason why he comes back to ask her to prom is because they're trying to test the waters of how his fans will react to them being in a relationship, because he is in a K-pop group and one of the members is in love with someone at the time, and they're like too afraid to test the waters themselves, and like, well, you know, we'll do it with a childhood best friend, because then you can always be like, oh, we're not dating, we're just childhood best friends. So they're using her to test the waters of how fans will react to them being in a relationship, but she doesn't know this. He doesn't tell her this. He lies to her for quite some time, and she finds out in the worst possible way. And she kind of made me a little mad at times because she was like so delusional and so in denial. She's like, oh, he couldn't possibly like me. But he does like her. He also is using her, but he does actually like her at the same time. And she's just like, I have heartburn. No, you're in love with him. Like, she's like, oh my God, I just saw him and now I have heartburn. That's called being in love. So there was a couple moments where I kind of wanted to like shake her and be like, okay, girl, you like him. Just tell him that you like him. But they have cute moments, and I will say this is my biggest gripe of the book. It is literally called Once Upon a K-Prom, and they don't even go to prom. They don't go to prom because they're currently fighting at the time, because that's right before prom is when she finds out that he was using her. And they end up missing prom. But then the next day, before they take the decorations down, he like has her show up and he confesses his love. So they have like a next day dance at the decorations of prom, but it's not even prom anymore because prom happened 24 hours ago, and they're just having a weird dance in a community center. So that's what makes me kind of angry, is that it's literally called Once Upon a K-Prom, and then they don't actually even go to actual prom together. But I'm giving it a 3.75 because I did like it, and it was cute. It had some really cute moments. It's not for me. I learned a lot about Korean culture and K-pop. It makes me have a lot of respect for the K-pop people, the K-pop artists, I guess I should call them, because they go through a lot. They're not allowed to do things easily. They don't always have control over their own lives, and that sounds terrible. So much respect to them. I'm not a K-pop fan. I read this for a friend, and I think we're giving it the exact same review, actually. I think she gave it a 3.75. I'm giving it a 3.75. It's going to get unhauled, and maybe someone out there will really like this book if they're a K-pop fan. I just think it's silly to call it Once Upon a K-Prom, and then they don't even actually go to prom. They go to that weird thing in the next day. And she does, it is still the decorations are still up, and he is confessing her love to her, so I don't want to, take away from the moment. I'm just saying, it would have made way more sense if they went to prom together, based off the title. It wasn't Once Upon a Love Confession in a community center the next day. That's not what it's called. It's called Once Upon a K-Prom. So I expected them to be at prom together. Annotation-wise, I did lose my first set of annotations, so I end up switching to a different set that I found quickly. So we do randomly have some oranges in there, but, I had to do my best. I was working with what I had. It's we did the best that we could. I don't know if I can really say much else, because it's just a 300-page romance. It's cute, but didn't wow me. Isn't going to sit with me. That's kind of how I feel about this entire month of reading so far. Is none of these are truly wowing me. I think a 5-star for this month is going to have to work really hard. And I think my ratings for this month are going to be way lower than past months because of what I'm reading. But, it's fine. I'm going to be reading In It to Win It. I haven't picked the tabs out because I need to go find the set of tabs that I lost to use that set of tabs, because I think they'll match. I think they'll match. The tabs that I was supposed to use will actually match this book as well. So if I can find the tabs, I'll just reuse them for this book. This is a second chance realtor romance. I don't know anything else about it, but I'm excited. It has people of color. Seems like it's going to be great representation. Okay, so I have to be really honest. I am DNFing within 2 pages. This might make me seem like a bitch, and this might make me seem really cruel and mean, and I'm not giving this a chance. But I read 2 pages, and it mentioned TikTok 5 times. Mentioning of TikTok is an automatic DNF for me. And the first time that it was mentioned, I was like, okay, I don't want to DNF a book on page 1. That seems really mean. But then it just kept getting brought up. The whole conversation was around TikTok. And maybe the book's really good. But if a book mentions TikTok or pop culture references that many times in a row, it does not make me think it's going to be a book for me. And to be honest, there's too many books out there that exist for me to push myself through this. And don't get me wrong, I subject myself to a lot. I've read a lot of weird books that I have ended up not really loving. But I don't know why. I don't know how to explain myself. I don't have to explain myself. But TikTok references are an immediate DNF for me. I will not be reading this for the Annotate With Me video. I won't be reading this at all. I will be putting it in my unhaul pile. And I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry because it's my reading habits. I'm just going to go ahead and move on to The Never List by Jade Presley. That's the next one I'm going to read and annotate. And I'm going to start that tomorrow because it's already 6 p.m. and now I'm pissed off. And I'm just not going to read because now I'm just pissed off. I mean, I read 2 pages. So technically my daily goal will be fulfilled because I have to read 1 page per day on Storygraph. I'm just pissed. And technically DNFing this book saves me 2 days of reading. So I'm going to go eat some mashed potatoes and watch Dancing with the Stars because now I'm just pissed off this book. This book that I've had for a year, I just DNF'd. I'm just petty. I don't know. There's just so many books that I want to get to this month, and I'm already kind of rushing because I have that whole weekend maybe off, and I don't want to make myself read a book with this many references this early on. I don't need to explain myself. Okay, bye. It is November 10th, and it's like the first day of me actually starting the Never List, and I love it so much that I read 50% in the first day. I love it. It's going amazing. You can't really see the tabs because of the fact it's a special edition, so I am like putting them in the inside instead of like, can I find an example? Like I'm putting them on the inside so that they don't pop out on the sprayed edge. Also, the book is for some odd reason, I don't know what happened to it, but the both of the edge pieces are kind of like it's almost like warped. I'm gonna have to apply something to maybe fix that. I think there's definitely a way to fix that in books. I'll have to just look it up. But the book is literally so good. I was so wrong about this book and what it was about. I've been telling everyone wrong. This is following a girl who was sneaking into a choosing ceremony to try to figure out what happened to her sister a year ago. The choosing ceremony is where once a year there is a big ceremony where people come to potentially get selected as the mate for the four princes. And the four princes all have their own nicknames, like the Nightmare, the Dreamer, the Player. I can't remember the Mind, maybe, is what the other one's name is. And they all have like powers. Like the Nightmare, he can make you hallucinate. The Mind, he can actually like get inside your mind and see everything that you've ever thought in your life. The Player can like literally manipulate your body. The Dreamer can like get into your dreams and stuff. And they're trying to find a mate. They've been trying for 6 years now because they need a mate to fulfill their like destiny almost, to get their full powers. And they all have to share the mate. It's one mate for all four men. And every year, every woman gives up after a month. They're like, oh, this is too much for me to handle. I want out. And because you get money for even trying. So they're trying again for the 6th time. And she goes to the ceremony because her sister disappeared a year ago at the last ceremony. And she's like, what happened to her? Did she get picked? Did she get killed? Did she get sent away? And she's a very poor person. And she has secret abilities that could get her killed. And they don't know that she has secret abilities. So she's in this ceremony when she definitely shouldn't be. And plot twist, she gets picked as the mate for that ceremony. So she has to spend a month with each prince. I have read through the first month with the first prince. That took me up to 50%. So I'm guessing the other ones go a bit faster because like literally 200 pages in was like her getting to the ceremony. And then I feel like the other 100 pages was with the first prince. And I only have 200 pages left. So they must start getting a little bit faster. The smut is minimum at the moment, but it's so, so good. Like, she has such good chemistry with all of the princes. And she hasn't even been with all of them yet. She spends a month with each one, so she's kind of getting like the private time with them, learning who they are, and she's learning that they're not the big bad person that she thought they were. They're actually good people. They have hopes and dreams. They're trying to help people, but they're dads. The kings are freaking horrific. They're the evil people. So I'll give you a little bit of a backstory about like the kings and the princes. The kings mated these like elemental goddesses to get immortality, and they had 4 sons. The 4 sons got the power from their parents, but it is locked inside of them, like to their full potential is locked inside of them until they find a mate that can balance them out. Because if they don't have a mate to balance them out, they're too powerful and they can overthrow people and they can hurt people. So they're meant to be in check by this mate. And every year that they go without a mate, they're getting weaker. Like their like protective barrier around their place is getting weaker and weaker. So they need a mate like ASAP to be able to protect their places. The kings are mean. They're not very nice people, especially one of them, especially the father of the Nightmare. He is not good at all, and I hope he dies. But that's like how the book is about. How it's going for me personally is I'm loving it. This is one of my favorite authors of all time for this reason. They write their books so quick, so fast, so easy to understand. Like you can just open it up and just literally jump in. And that's such a good feeling. I feel like lately I've been kind of almost slumping a little bit, or like I'm reading the books and I'm enjoying it, but it's taking me so long. This is the first book in probably a month where I've been like hammered to the metal, reading it, and I didn't even want to stop reading, but I had to stream yesterday and I wanted to take a nap. So like I'm gonna finish this on the 11th. I'm gonna be reading it on stream, and after stream I will come and give you my rating and review. I'm really, really excited. I anticipate it to be a 5-star. It's already reading like a 5-star. I'm already really enjoying it. I can't wait for her to meet one of the princes because like he seems like he's gonna be so hot, and like that's the one that I'm kind of manifesting for her to enjoy the most. But it's super, super interesting. See, I thought it was the other way around. I thought she was a princess and they came to her to be her potential mate. It's the other way around. It's a wide shoes romance with 4 princes that she is getting picked by. So it's fun. It's really fun. This author writes so well. This is their first full-size novel. The other books I've read by them have been like more novella type, like 100 pages, 200 pages. And I was a little worried. I was like, oh, this is our first time writing such a big book. I wonder how it's going to be. Because they're so used to short form content. It's so good. It's so good. It's The Neverless by Jade Presley. I don't know if I even said that. Really recommend it so far. Hi, bear with me. The lighting's weird because I have a really bad headache, but I don't want to forget to make this clip because sometimes when I do that and then I'm like, fuck, I'm editing, and then I'm like, oh, I never did the clip for that. So I'm going to go ahead and make this clip really fast so I can go lay down and be out of light, but I can't stand to have very much light on right now. I'm here to talk about The Neverlist. I did finish this and I loved it. I'm giving it 5 stars. This book was so good. It does end on a cliffhanger, which really sucks, but I'll be sat for the next book. It had a perfect level of plot and smut. She does screw all 4 of them, as she should. I mean, it is a wide choose, and she definitely didn't choose. I did guess the ending, like part of the ending. I thought it was super obvious from the get-go, but there was a part of the ending that I didn't guess, so I'm still a little gagged, and I'm not going to take down the 5 stars because I still was gagged, and I still loved it a whole bunch. So technically, it's a 5-star for me. There are a little bit of things that I think kind of gave away the ending, but for the most part, I still really fully enjoyed it. I read it so quickly. It was so easy to read. It was so fun to read. I really recommend it. It's like it's a chunkier book, but I'm really proud of this author and what they've done because this is their first time writing such a big novel like this. I think they slayed it. I think they slayed their first time writing something this big, and I can't wait to see what they come up with next. And I am too lazy to make this clip twice, so I'm putting this into my November wrap up and my Annotate with Me wrap up because I just literally cannot be bothered to record it twice. And I'm not giving you spoilers because it's not much to say anyways, because it doesn't on a cliffhanger before we really find anything out. Like, we don't really find anything out because it ends on a cliffhanger before you find anything out. So I can't really even give spoilers even if I wanted to. But yeah, I had a really fun time annotating this. You can't really see the annotation tabs because I did them in the inside of the book, but overall, really fun time with this. And that's my thoughts. Okay. Before I go, I just talked about The Neverlist. I forgot to mention that what I'm reading next. I'll be reading The Shield of Sparrows, which wraps up this Annotate with Me video. And I'll be starting this probably this evening, and I'll probably be reading this for the next couple of days. It's fucking huge. It's a chunky bitch. She is thick. I do have Friendsgiving coming up this weekend, so I'm probably going to be reading this maybe until Monday. Like, I'm probably going to take like 4 or 5 days to read this. I'm going to aim for like maybe 50 to 60 pages a day It's currently Wednesday, so I'm gonna be taking a while with it. But I do have the tabs picked out. There we go. Those are my tabs. I picked out some good ones. Let me go over what they are. The olive green tabs are for world building. The grayish green is for characters. The burgundy is for plot. The tan is for favorite moments. And the pink is for romance. Because I don't actually know the main character's name because I couldn't find it anywhere online without Googling spoilers. So I'll be starting this and I'll be annotating it the same way as I did the last one. I'll be putting them in the inside of the book so you guys won't actually see them. But I'll try to do some recordings of me reading the book and I'll be back to give you a 50% check-in, if nothing else. Hi. So you know how I was like, I'll be back to give you a 50% check-in? It's been 8 days later. I finished the book. In my defense, November has been terrible. It's been busy. My headset broke. I got sick and then unsick and then sick again. And then I had friends over for 5 days and I didn't read any of those 5 days. And now it's been 8 days and I'm finally here to talk about the book. With spoilers, because this book was wild. So I'm giving this book a 4.5 and I have no clips of me reading it. I have nothing to give you for a 50% wrap up because I fucking suck. You're just getting my review of the book. Yay! And this is the last book of the video, so yay! I don't think I'm good at these videos, and I don't think I'm gonna be continuing them in the way that I have been. I think these videos are a lot better when I spotlight one book to read instead of spotlighting multiple books to read, annotating-wise. I am annotating books in December, but I think I'm not going to make a video for it because I feel like I really suck at these videos and they end up not ever turning out the way that I want them to. But I recorded this, so you're going to get it. And if I do bring them back in 2026, I think I might just do like annotate with me for the week and it just be like one book that I'm annotating. Because trying to annotate multiple books and then giving you check-ins more than I usually do is kind of exhausting and I kind of forgot about it a lot of the time. So it just makes no sense for me to even do this. So this is going to be probably the last one of me doing this many books. But let's talk about the book itself. This is the author's debut fantasy, and for a debut fantasy, I think it's really good. I don't think it needed to be 511 pages. I think it could have definitely been shortened. They do a lot of hand-holding, but this book is wild. So this is following... In this royal family, they have what's called the Sparrow, which is someone who is picked to be the bride of another royal family, and they pretty much serve their kingdom in this royal family's household. Like, they literally pick up their whole life and move to another royal family. Their entire life is to be this. Like, they're literally raised to be the Sparrow, which is, like, the bride. Well, the main character was not picked to be the Sparrow, but then... one day, this guardian and this other royal king show up, and they're like, actually, we want her. So she gets selected as the Sparrow, and even though she's not prepared at all, she has to literally yeet her whole life up and go with this king, who she does not know, who does not speak, and she kind of has the hots for the guardian. And I'm going to get into spoilers, because this was so fucking wild. You spend, like... 80% of the book thinking that she's not in love with her husband and that she's in love with the guardian, to find out that the guardian is her husband. The guardian was the one to perform the wedding ceremony because the king couldn't speak. But he is actually the king. He married her and she doesn't know it. She's like, I feel so fucking guilty. I'm in love with the guardian. I don't even fucking like my husband. I'm not attracted to him. I don't want to have sex with him. And the whole time she's like googly-eyeing the guardian just for you to find out that he is her actual husband. So then they're like, mwah, 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 with no guilt. There is multiple crazy ass plot lines going on. We have what is called the Crux, which is where every so many years there are these mystical fucking beings who are pretty much invincible. They're like eagles and lions put together, and then like with this giant armor that like makes them almost like completely unable to be killed. They usually get caged. And the next Crux season is coming up in the next spring in this book. So they're trying to prepare for the Crux, but they don't feel prepared because you have to like save up food because you can't fight them. You literally have to bunker down and hide throughout the Crux season, and then you come out when it's over. And a lot of people tend to die during the Crux season. So that's one plot line of the book, is them trying to prepare for the Crux season. Second plot line of this book is that some of the animals bleed green and they like seem to be poisoned, and they're trying to figure out why they're poisoned and who's poisoning them and is it magic. So that's another plot line. And then a third plot line is like, who is the guardian and what the fuck's up with the main character's legacy and her heritage, because like she has red hair and she has unnormal eyes and no one questions it, but she like gets sick around magic and no one's like, that's weird. And there's a whole plot line with her. You don't know anything, but you like, it's part of the story. And then the end of the book, which is like the last 2 chapters, everything goes to hell. The crux starts early. So these, well, like I said, invincible creatures come early and they like fucking decimate this village. Like all these characters that you had learned about in the book are just fucking dead instantly, like split in fucking half. No chance of even fighting. We in the book, we don't know if the Guardian's really alive. We don't know if the King's alive. We don't know if the main character's alive. We don't know who anyone and anywhere is alive or done. I literally am like gagged. And that's the end of the book. That's how they choose to end it. And this is spoilers, like I said. That's why I give a huge spoiler warning, because this was so fucking wild. I'm going to be sat for book 2. I'm going to be sat. I think it's coming out in April, which is my birthday month, which is hilarious, and I'll definitely be reading it. 4.5 just because, like, it could have been shorter. I think some of the things could have been condensed a lot more. Annotation-wise, I ran out of tabs. I was annotating like fucking crazy. Like, I do it inside because it's a special edition, but I annotated literally so much. Like, definitely the book that I annotated the most this video. But yeah, this is the last physical book of the month. And this is going to be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I don't think these go very well. Like, not to you guys. I just don't like them personally. And I've been trying to make them work because they're really, they seem like fun to do. But I just don't think I'm meant to do these kind of videos. So, I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll probably just stick to doing my monthly wrap-ups. And that will be it when it comes to talking about books. Because this also means I have to talk about the book twice. Like, if I have 6 books, that means I have to talk about them twice, and I have 12 different clips about the same book, and it's like, it's chaotic. But thank you so much for watching if you stuck around this long. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!